Members of the California Teachers Association.
There's a great resource base there of teachers who can then help other teachers, mentor other teachers in terms of approaches to curriculum or just ideas.
You walk into John's room and you can't help but learn. It's not just fun and games. John is a real teacher who believes that what he is teaching is important.
You're watching the California Teachers Association's weekly news magazine on public education, Quest for Excellence. From our studios on the campus of California State University, Monterey Bay, Dina Eastwood.
These days, public school teachers are a lot more than just educators. They often have to play the role of doctor, counselor, all-around shoulder to cry on. They're the first ones to school every day and the last ones to leave, and many of them even visit students and parents at home on their own time. Well, many teachers will tell you that they do their job for the love of the kids, but they also don't mind being recognized for a job well done. I'm Dina Louise Eastwood. Welcome to Quest for Excellence. So many of us have been affected in one way or another by a favorite teacher, but very few of them get recognition. So enter the Walt Disney Company. In 1990, the company created the National Teacher Awards, and in true Disney fashion, this ceremony is complete with all the pageantry of the Oscars or the Grammys. Quest reporter Ted Price has more.
Give me a T. Give me an E. Give me an ACH. Give me an EIS. Teacher.
It's all the glitz and glamour, pomp and circumstance that only Disney can create. The red carpet rolls out, the stars show up, and the cameras roll. But this isn't the latest tribute to a Hollywood icon or yet another made-for-TV Hollywood awards show. The honorees are teachers.
Though our award isn't as old as the Oscar, it's heavier. It's heavier. And our honorees are every bit as glamorous as any group that ever walked down the red carpet to be celebrated by their peers. That's true. Look at you.
The awards were created in 1990, the brainchild of Disney chairman Michael Eisner. He wanted a way for his company to give something back to the teachers across the country. For a few days, it's teachers who are given the royal treatment. Another goal
is to make these people special. One, for themselves to feel special, and they've earned that right to come to Los Angeles and have that sense of being honored that way. And also, from a public perspective, to have people look at them.
Disney presents American Teacher Stories. Join us as we get to know 3 outstanding visual arts teachers.
Disney receives thousands of applications every year. A steering committee made up of teacher associations, foundations, and other professionals is set up to pore over all of the entries. They are then whittled down to 3 finalists in 12 different teaching categories. A video team is sent out to capture the finalists in their element. They're all flown to California for the awards show, and it's the teachers themselves who vote for the one finalist to be named Disney Teacher of the Year.
In the end, when we kind of looked at how that final teacher should be selected, it seemed that the teachers are really the best suited to make that choice.
American Teaching Awards holds a very special place in my heart because I come from a very long line of educators. I have 2 grandfathers that are principals, or they were principals. I have an uncle who is a principal. Have another uncle who teaches middle school. Have an aunt who is an elementary school teacher. My mom's a special ed teacher, and my father is a 4th grade teacher.
There is more human drama, human confrontation, tension, and gut-wrenching emotion, as they like to say in the ads, motivated by your profession and played out on the silver screen than almost any other genre.
So Teach Your Children was this yin-yang learning and teaching metaphor that seems to have lasted a long time. It was written, over a quarter of a century ago, and is still being played today. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams the ones they pick is the one you know by.
I would definitely say reading is the most important thing. I would teach any elementary school kid to have them be able to read books. It's the greatest.
Disney presents American Teacher Stories. Join us as we get to know 3 outstanding science teachers.
This place really is a zoo, and we're not talking about the kids. Let's file them down a little bit so they're not sharp. For about the last 10 years, I've been taking in animals and teaching my kids about how to care for the animals and in turn, can care for all living things.
John has instilled in these kids a real understanding of the problems of the environment.
They love coming in my classroom, and that's the first thing when you're dealing with junior high school kids is you have to get them in your classroom and you have to get them to want to be there.
You know, you ask any 7th grade student what their favorite subject is in school, and chances are it's not science. But that's not the case in our next story. Students find science interesting and exciting, and as Quest reporter Rose Dean shows us, they also rave about what they learn and who's teaching it.
John Zavolny's science class at Fauché Learning Center in South Central Los Angeles is like walking into another world. The room is large and alive with all kinds of plant and animal life. The 6 species of snakes, 7 iguanas, 3 parrots, a parakeet, Vietnamese walking sticks, and lizards from around the world are just a small part of what makes this class unusual. Students call it Mr. Zavolny's Zoo. It's where he says he puts life into life science.
I try to have a relaxed atmosphere. I want them to take ownership of their own education. I don't tell them what they have to do. I kind of leave it open-ended so that they're making decisions about what they're going to do in class and how they're going to present it. So they feel like they're in charge of their own education. Some of these animals aren't even in a regular zoo, but for the kids to have access to these animals, not only just to see them, but to hold them, to touch them, to research them. I mean, to me, it's a big hook. The kids just love coming in here because of the animals.
You walk into John's room and you can't help but learn because it's an exciting, stimulating environment. And with all of that, John holds kids to learning. It's not just fun and games. John is a real teacher who believes that what he is teaching is important and that it goes beyond just the set curriculum or just the set things that the state says we have to do.
We're going to label the parts, petals, sepals, leaves, and the sexual organs on the inside.
Okay. How are you going to draw those? The flowers?
If it's not open all the way, then you can't. Okay? And you're going to label all the parts. On your lined paper, you're giving me a physical description, describing the flower, how it feels, how it smells. Don't taste it, please. Write down each part that you labeled over here and give me the function of each part. What does each part do? If you use this paper as a reference, it will help you.
We had the Prince of Wales visit our technology center. John's kids were in the technology center doing a computerized zoo. So they were each looking up zoo animals on the internet and doing HyperStudio about animals. And that's what John Zavolny does. It's not just a book. It's not just the wonderful animals. It's not just the computer. It's not just the environment. It's not just Globe. It's everything. And the kids just go crazy. The kids really learn.
We learn about the animals and it helps us understand the environment around us.
Zavolny met famed primate researcher Jane Goodall in 1996 and was invited by her to come work with her in Tanzania. He spent 3 months in Africa and now shares that knowledge with his students and colleagues at Fauché. In September, Zavolny traveled to Lisbon, Portugal, with another teacher and 3 students from Los Angeles as part of Vice President Al Gore's GLOBE program.
Okay, the GLOBE program is Al Gore's environmental program, which has students across the world collecting environmental data for the research scientist. So the students are actually out there doing collecting research quality data. And all this is downloaded on the internet to the scientists into a big database.
As the Los Angeles coordinator of the GLOBE program, Zavolny trains teachers and gets them involved in the project. He also makes sure that it's implemented into the classrooms. This tireless school teacher says 2 schools from the United States, 1 from Puerto Rico and 5 from Portugal, will work together as a team. They're studying water because this is the year of the ocean at the World Expo in Lisbon. Zavalny says Fauchet's uniqueness as a K-12 school allows for greater interaction and learning between the grades on campus. The middle school students work with the elementary school students, and the high school students work with the middle school students.
When you're actually teaching somebody is when you learn the most about the subject. And the kids don't realize that. You know, they think that they've done all their learning while they're doing their research, but when they actually sit down and start doing the teaching, that's when it really sticks with them.
I like him as a teacher because he explains and he's also funny. He makes us laugh. It's not just like all straightforward talk about school and stuff like that. And he basically understands his students, and he takes the time out to like help you and like understand your problems or how the way you feel about this, and you know, tells you things that will help you in life later on.
Sitting down, the lens can hit the glass slide and break it.
What did Zavalny think about being selected as a Disney teacher?
Since I've been nominated, I think the thing that means the most to me has been the reaction of my colleagues and my peers around me, all congratulating me and telling me how much, you know, I deserve it. And to me, that means more than anything else, just a recognition from them.
Mr. Zavalny got his animals in a very strange way. The Federal Fish and Wildlife Department gave them to him after confiscating the animals from smugglers at the U.S. border. If you'd like to find out what else is happening at the Fauchet Learning Center, log on to the Quest website and then go to this week's links.